But we do this thing with the pet names. That's fun. We have fun.
we have fun. Now, do you put your
I did, yeah. My cats live with my parents now, but I'm pretty sure my cats had their names in that episode.
What were your cats' names?
Harley Quinn, Ivy, and Zatanna.
Gee, I wonder if you like comics.
Now this sequence right here, this is this I built. I did the cinematics on Jesse suiting up, partially as wait, this next moment here where it finishes. I love this. And this suit up sequence. After my 2 episodes of Minecraft, I went off and I directed the second episode of Batman. So here, this is around the time they were starting to staff up Batman, so I put this together and was just like, here's how I would have Batman suit up, you know, like, exactly. a little audition piece to say, maybe I could go spend some time on that project too. I love Minecraft, but Batman's also very cool.
Minecraft Batman.
Oh God. Oh, that'd be so cool.
Lego already did it. Sorry, man.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I've
maintained the integrity of the player space.
Jonathan and I have been friends for many years. I've known this man, you know, since day one, him coming here, and we bust each other's chops all the time. That's how you know you're friends.
Oh, Ruben's scared.
Don't eat my pig. Don't eat my pig. Hi. Okay, that's uncomfortable.
It's really right up in Jesse's personal space.
Yeah, that's the bubble. Who's inside the bubble? So I'm guessing that we're just going to assume that the mask hides their gaze from you in some kind of fashion or way?
Yeah, so the idea is that Soren, this is a prototype suit that Soren made in his effort to, when he withdrew from the world and the original old Order of the Stone members and retired here to the end to study the Enderman, he built himself these suits that let him walk amongst them and study them without fear of them aggroing on him. And you really get to test the limits of your prototype suit here.
I'm just gonna take this if that's okay. Thank.
And uh-oh. And now all the Endermen are freaking out. They're all vibrating.
That's normal, right? That's fine.
It's fine.
It's cool.
And we should mention here John Hodgman as Soren from The Daily Show, most prominently and whatnot. But him as Soren and being a champ for reading all the crazy little Enderman observations that are on these recordings. And singing the song that's going to come up in a little bit, which if you listen through the end credits, you'll hear that full song that was originally intended, the whole thing, to be in the episode. There's got to be one more upstairs.
See, I found one upstairs.
Sure, at 5. Oh wait, it's over there on the left.
Oh,
see it there?
Oh my
Just go over by the door.
So blind, so much blind.
There we go.
There we go. Pro gamer, everybody. Pro gamer. I'm sure the comments below are just, you know, wow, that Ryan guy, so good at games, so good. Once again, just because I work here does not mean I'm the best.
Yes, your employment here does not confer any sort of special status upon you. You're not better than anybody just because you have a Telltale ID card. We don't have ID cards.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It'd be really cool if we had ID cards.
Some kind of validation, please.
I have my like health insurance notification card says Telltale. We get the T-shirts.
Yes, we'll get the T-shirt. My favorite T-shirt we've had here is still rocking the TTG Walking Dead Season 1 shirt and splash of blood in the front and everything else. So outside of the main cast,
yeah,
who would you say is your favorite character outside of the main cast?
Season 1 is Soren. I love Soren.
Really?
I kind of wish we had something else for him to do after he kind of skedaddles in Ep 4 off the stage because he is so strange, willing to break out into song, and like I was saying before, John Hodgman, like if we could bring him back and have just more of him in the game, I would love it. And I think he's also, I think at the end of the day, he winds up being the most interesting member of the original Order of the Stone because he's got like all sorts of crazy knowledge that we leave unexplored. Like you'll find in episodes down the line, like in 5, you find a book in Sky City written by Soren that somehow got there. Like Soren is this vast like repository of knowledge. Oh wait, sorry, the musical number.
What's happening?
So that originally went for like 2-3 more verses, but we had to cut it down. But the full song is in the end credits.
That's what I was going to say, but the full song is going to be in the end credits.
Yeah.
So. That's awesome, though.
But yeah, if there were ever a way to bring Soren back, for more
I think
fun.
that's where your musical number would then come into play.
Absolutely.
Crap. Cruisity crap.
Hey.
See, I wonder which one I'm going to say.
That is solid game design right there. You're saying a thing out loud, and then a second later it's on screen for you to say.
Now, I wonder how many times, like, in the writer's room, where they're playing, our first rev on something, and then somebody says something like, you know what, that needs to, go over this.
Well, usually that winds up being a good part of the process, right? Like, we're testing the game internally, we're playing through scenes, we go, basically like, oh, you know what I really want to say here?
Yeah.
And if we try it out and it works, then it goes in. And then more often than not, you're going to feel that same
more
thing and
people
want
will
to say
say
it.
the same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to say, I did not remember that moment ever. That's just me saying what comes to mind. Shh. Be quiet, you
See,
idiot.
Lucas, shut up.
I like how I'm the girl Jesse and he still calls me dude.
Yeah, that was one of those things we debated internally and just made the call that it's totally acceptable. Gender-wise,
totally
dudes, fine no matter what.
And I've met guys like that. They call dude. Everyone gets called dude.
That's another thing that has to happen every episode is a gendered pronoun pass, just to make sure that we don't have a line that the only recording of it we got was them referring to Jesse as a he or a she kind of thing.
Yeah, and then our actors do a really good job. Depending on whether it's the male or female version. Getting the timing of the lines to sync up to each other as well. Because and correct me if I'm wrong, depending on the voice actor or voice actress, depending on which Jesse, those lines have to be pretty much timed the same, correct?
No, actually, we don't go through a process where so Kat Tabor voices female Jesse, Patton Oswalt voices male Jesse, and what we do is. Kat goes first.
Yeah.
And so we're working with her voice for most of production. And at the end, we actually have automated tools. So whatever Patton's, the length of his line is, like tone-wise, like everybody's getting the same direction, they're reading the same script. So you wind up getting overlap there in terms of how they're reacting to the things on screen. But we have automated tools that will take those sound files and actually stretch or shrink the cutscenes as needed based on the length of their VO. And so that's how we wind up with, you'll probably see slight variations in timing between the two different playthroughs.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we have automated tools that handle that stuff for us. So the actors just go in and they play the character how they see fit, and we don't ask one to listen to the other.
That's cool, because I don't think a lot of people even think of that kind of like, how do we have these scenes with the two different voice actors and then, what kind of tech? But that's kind of cool to know, is that that it kind of changes that way.
And the same stuff now with Season 2, we're doing this thing where we're releasing it fully voiced in other languages too. And we use the same tech, so like the Japanese voice cast, the German voice cast, like all their voice files will get replaced. Like we'll replace the English voice files with theirs, and the automated tools will take care of adjusting things as needed.
That is so cool. You know, so as you can see, like there's a lot of thought, a lot of hard work, and a lot of talent that goes behind this series, even just right down to how the voices get played and how everything is. And so, yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing is also, you know, everyone watching at home that are, if you ever want to send out some nice comments to, you know, the Telltale gang and that kind of stuff, if you put them down in the comments below, I'll make sure to send that out to the staff here. I'll email that out, your comments to everybody. But something to think about when you guys are making some comments down there.
If you ever wanted a visual reference to Alien 3 in your video game aimed for kids.
Yes, I see it.
We're here to make your dreams come true.
I totally see it.
Oh.
Oh my God. All you need is the second mouth popping out.
God. Yeah, we joked about that one too. And so this whole sequence was put together by Matt Leach, another one of our cinematic artists who has now moved on to being an episode director himself.
Yeah. It is a lot of really good work. Yeah, that I totally saw that. I totally saw that.
And that was entirely him too. Like, like reviewing the scene, all of a sudden I'm like, wait, you just referenced Alien 3 here? I love this. This is amazing.
That was awesome. Yeah, all you need is that second mouth popping out. He could have shrunk down another
Enderman and had it. Yeah. Mojang might have had a few notes.
Note.
Don't do that.
There's not smaller Endermen inside the Enderman.
We'd really appreciate it if you didn't put them in the game. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how much water this thing is going to kick out.
So if we wouldn't have if we wouldn't have saved her and gone the other route in the first episode, excuse me, would Petra be here with us?
No, Petra's wouldn't be in the episode, except spoiler warning for the very end. Mm-hmm. And you'd have Gabriel with you throughout this whole thing. It was an entirely different performance and
that is crazy
set of choices
to think about,
and stuff.
because just like, you know, looking at our dialogue files and then the branching and the timing of the characters, and once again, that is a lot.
Oh, depth of field bug. Ooh.
Now that is a thing I've noticed, which is quite interesting, depending on if we have a director in the chair or
I have been specifically not pointing out the little visual ticks and bugs
and the funny
throughout.
thing is like, I still have that mindset as a cinematic artist, and so I see it, but I've gotten used to just going, you know. But it is legit pretty interesting to me that depending on who's sitting in this chair, writers and designers, they have far less. They far more that they just kind of gloss over that they don't look at. But we have a director in the chair, and they'll definitely like notice these things and be like, oh, there's that.
And I love this sequence with all the iron golems get spawned in. And this was a sequence where Sean Stewart, who was a slightly newer cinematic artist at the time, we basically just all these gags are basically things he cooked up. We had like a loose like the iron golems get spawned and they wreck house on the spiders and the skeletons and whatnot, and we just kind of set him loose.
That was just cool that he just caught it.
The no look grab. Yeah, that's so good.
And I think that is also something I really do.
A nice little visual wipe there with the golems. Classy.
I love with Telltale's they trust, you know, the cinematic department, that, you know, like, and thus that trust kind of trickles down, allows cinematic artists to have that kind of leeway to be like, hey, make something fun here, you know, go, you know, be an artist and create, which I feel is, once again, very unique to Telltale, that a lot of studios don't enjoy, a lot of creative people don't enjoy that freedom as much.
Well, I mean, just the speed at which we work, the amount of things we work on, it just sort of demands that you have to trust folks know what they're doing and are good at their job.
Yeah.
And most of the time you are 100% on the money, and you basically, when we hand a scene over to a cinematic artist, they are in effect becoming the director of this little piece of the game. It is their job to get everything on screen and then work with the various departments that need to come together to make that scene happen. Like the episode director is always there watching over everything, but on the day-to-day basis, there's so much going on that you just have to trust folks to pull the stuff together.
And yeah, I think, you know, outside of, you know, some correction, you know, here and there, it really does add, because then everyone gets to, and I think that's where then it speaks to, you know, having a sense of like, okay, you know, here's the direction we're going cinematically with what kind of movie selection, so they kind of get to that realm and that kind of thing. But it's kind of cool, because then you get those kind of like little funny peppered moments that you didn't expect or didn't even think of at the time, you know, to do.
But we do this thing with the pet names. That's fun. We have fun.
Yeah.